Suppose you go to the zoo. While you're there, you spend $12 on a souvenir. You return with 13. Write and solve an equation to show the amount of money you took to the zoo. So you had some amount of money. We'll just call it M. You can use X or Z or Y. Any variable will do. You spent 12, so whatever you had minus 12. And you came home with 13, so equals 13. So let's solve for our variable. Just rewriting the problem, m minus 12 equals 13. So you want to isolate your variable. M is being subtracted by 12, so we want to add 12. What you do to one side, you need to do to the other, so add 12 to both sides. Positive and negative 12 cancel each other out, and m equals 25. So use your math to help you actually answer the question. How much money did you take with you to the zoo? Well, you took with you $25. Mr. Williams travels 20 miles west from Dallas to Arlington. Then he travels on to Fort Worth. His total trip is 35 miles. Write and solve an equation to find the distance from Arlington to Fort Worth. In any of these map problems, it's nice to draw a picture. So we're going to start in Dallas. Traveling west is usually to the left on a map. So we know he went 20 miles and he ended up in Arlington. Then he traveled on to Fort Worth, but we don't know how far that is. So we're going to just call that M for miles. Now, one thing we do know is that the entire trip was 35 miles. So once you draw a picture, you can see that M plus 20 is going to equal 35, and that will give you your equation. M plus 20, you could also say 20 plus M, either way, equals 35. Now let's solve for it. So M is your variable, it's being added by 20. We want to subtract 20 on both sides to isolate our variable. So a positive 20 and a negative 20 will cancel each other out, leaving M on this side of the equation. Bring down your equal sign, 15 on this side. So M equals 15 is the math solution. I use that to answer your word problem in words. Always answer word problems with words. So how far is it from Arlington to Fort Worth? It is 15 miles. Now if you'll put that back in your equation or your picture, you'll be able to check yourself. If you see that this was 15 and we had added 20, we would have gotten 35. The Hornets have played 20 games this year and have only lost 2 with no tie games. Write and solve an equation to show how many games they have won. So think about it. If you don't have any tie games, then your losses plus your wins will equal your total. So if 2 losses plus, we don't know how many wins, but we do know that there's a total of 20 games. So let's work that one. 2 plus W equals 20. W is your variable. It's being added by 2. We want to subtract 2 from both sides, so subtract 2 to isolate your variable. Positive 2 and negative 2 will cancel, leaving you with W on this side. Bring down your equal sign, and on this side you'll have 18. So how many games have they won? They have won 18 games. I buy 5 pairs of shorts on sale and pay a total of $100. Write and solve an equation for the price of 1 pair of shorts. So we know 5 times something. Let's make it X. So 5X equals 100. So 5 times 1 pair equals $100. So let's bring it down and solve for it. 5X equals 100. So X is your variable. It's being multiplied by 5. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. What you do to one side, you want to do to the other. This is your division bar. Divide by 5, divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 gives you 1, leaving you only with X on this side. Make sure you cancel. X equals 100 divided by 5 is 20. So what is the price of 1 pair of shorts? $20.